President Trump has declared decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen right now. So Trump has ordered airstrikes to take apart the Houthi terrorists and has begun striking the capital city already. So there's footage on X that shows several airstrikes hitting right near the Sana'a International Airport, and there's so many numbers of explosions already being heard. There's several images of all the thick columns of smoke coming up, and according to their TV station, there has been many strikes targeting residential neighborhoods just north of the capital. This all comes in retaliation to Houthi fighters firing missiles at Israel's principal airport. They said it's in a direct retaliation to Israel targeting a runway near Yemen earlier this week. So Israeli missiles struck the Yemeni airport as the Director General of the World Health Organization was boarding a flight. According to the United Nations, 3 people were killed, dozens were injured in this attack. So the claims say that right here, this area near the Sana'a International Airport has been targeted by the airstrikes so far. Here's another picture that has been captured of the airstrikes in Yemen. So between Trump's declaration to take out any terrorist organization and the fact that they came against Israel both together has prompted Trump to make this military action viable, reasonable, and immediate. So this solidifies Trump in what he said, that if you're going to attack us, if you're going to attack our allies, expect us to come in full force and no longer allow you to even be a terrorist organization. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below.
We are following more breaking news at this hour. The U.S. launching large-scale military strikes against Houthi rebels in Yemen. U.S. Central Command releasing this video of FA-18 fighter jets taking off to conduct those airstrikes. This was the first strike on the Houthis under the second Trump administration, and the president promising to unleash, quote, overwhelming lethal force. Trump also issuing a stern warning to Iran. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, smoke rising over Yemen's capital after the U.S. launches large-scale strikes against Iranian-backed Houthi militants. So far, the largest and most significant military action of President Trump's second term. Trump saying the Houthis have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones. We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. U.S. officials tell ABC News the air and naval strikes hit radars, air defenses, and missile and drone systems. The attacks could last for several days and intensify in scope and scale. A spokesperson for Yemen's Ministry of Health says at least 9 people have been killed and 9 more injured in tonight's strikes, claiming most of the casualties were civilians. The American aggression on Yemen is a criminal escalation that will not break the resolve of the Yemeni people and will only increase their determination to support Gaza and the resistance. Since the Hamas assault in Israel in October 2023, the Houthis have launched more than 100 attacks on vessels in the Red Sea. Trump now warning the Houthis the attacks must stop or hell will rain down upon you like nothing you've ever seen before. And sending a stark message to Iran demanding they end support for the Houthis immediately.
Clearly, the intended audience here was Iran. The Trump administration has made it clear that they want the Iranians to negotiate an end to their nuclear program. And if they don't, there could be military action like we saw tonight directly against Iran.
And with the Biden administration also launched similar strikes on the Houthis, but that didn't stop their attacks in the Red Sea. A source familiar with the plan tells me that the U.S. military action that comes next depends on how the Houthis respond. Whit.
Selena Wang at the White House. Thank you.
This is just breaking. Donald Trump has illegally invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, a sweeping wartime authority. Here's the press release put out by the White House. They say invocation of the Alien Enemies Act regarding the invasion of the United States by Tren de Aragua. The Alien Enemies Act is supposed to be enacted only in times of war or if the United States is under invasion. That's why in a statement, Donald Trump is claiming that the Tren de Aragua gang is, quote, invading the United States. Trump is using this sweeping authority in order to try to deport anybody who he deems to be a member of Tren de Aragua. And I'm sure he plans to use this act to go even further. This is the 4th time in history that the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 has been invoked. The last time was during World War II when we interned Japanese Americans in camps.
Donald Trump has just issued a declaration stating that the United States is at war, and he is claiming wartime powers under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport whoever he wants to deport. Now, the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act that he just made moments ago, where he declares America is currently under invasion and therefore he needs to enact these wartime powers, says that he's only targeting the Tren de Aragua gang from Venezuela. But the implications here are that he can just decide who he thinks belongs to that gang, and then without any oversight, without any constitutional rights, start doing mass deportations, as he has declared a current war and invasion is taking place, which obviously is not happening right now. Now, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 has only been invoked 3 times in American history during wars: the War of 1812, World War I, and the attack on Pearl Harbor. Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat, says the following about the Alien Enemies Act. He goes, the 1798 Alien Enemies Act allows the president to detain and remove without due process all non-citizens, students, tourists, long-term green card holders, spouses of citizens. It's to be used against citizens of a nation that's at war with the U.S. It is thus a wartime power. That's why it has only been invoked 3 times: the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. It has never been used during peacetime and is not allowed to be used during peacetime. By itself, the invocation is illegal and dangerous. It allows Trump to hunt down non-citizens, many of which have lived here for decades totally legally, and remove them from their families and workplaces for no reason, maybe just because they were critical of Trump. And Trump's explicit purpose to allow him to detain and deport gang members and drug traffickers is bullshit. There's already a law on the books that allows him to do that. He doesn't need a new law. The law says if you are a drug dealer, if you are engaged in crimes, you get the full force of the law. You get deported, you get arrested, you get treated like a terrorist if that's who you are. You don't need the Alien Enemies Act. So, then why is he invoking this 18th century war powers law? Remember, his plan is to destroy our democracy so he can turn our government and your tax dollars over to his billionaire friends like Elon Musk. The slow but steady rollout of war powers. Is the Insurrection Act next? Is he going to start declaring martial law and send the United States military on the people as people start to rise up? It's all part of Donald Trump's attempt to erode our rule of law and take fascist control over our country. Until and before we know it, our entire country could be gone to Donald Trump's authoritarian desires. That's what Trump and these spineless MAGAs want. Look, during the campaign, Donald Trump said that he was going to invoke the Alien Enemies Act.